The world we call home is full of mysterious and great wonders. Join me on this journey to the dark corners of Earth, where the truth is hidden behind doors that were never meant to be opened. Free your mind as we dive into the unknown. This is Decoded with Astria TV. With 400 billion Milky Way stars, it is estimated they contain 1 to 10 trillion orbiting planets in total. So you must ask yourself, are we alone? The answer to that question depends on who you ask. According to quite a few eyewitnesses, there is something out there. Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple who claimed they were abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of the state of New Hampshire from September 19th to the 20th, 1961. It was the very first widely publicized report of an alien abduction in the United States. Is it chasing us? That thought coursed through Betty and Barney Hill's minds as they drove down an empty, winding country road in New Hampshire's White Mountains. It was a quiet September night in 1961. They hadn't seen another car for miles, but a strange light in the sky seemed to follow them. When they finally made it home to Portsmouth at dawn, they were far from relieved. They felt dirty, their watches had stopped working, Barney's shoes were somehow scuffed, and even Betty's dress was ripped. There was a 2-hour period of driving that neither one of them could remember what had happened. With the help of a psychiatrist, the quiet couple eventually revealed a startling story. Gray beings with large eyes had walked them into a metallic disc. Inside, they were examined, and the couple had their memories erased. This was a time before UFOs and aliens were ever thought of. They were far from common and would put a person's reputation at risk. So you must ask yourself, were they really abducted, and why lie? Or, by some wild stretch, did Betty and Barney have a shared hallucination? Regardless what we may think, the government believed it as true, and this case led to the now famous Air Force initiative called Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book was the code name for the systematic study of unidentified flying objects by the United States Air Force from March 1952 to its termination December 17, 1969. In the public eye, they downplayed UFOs and called people conspiracy theorists, while all along they were studying the phenomena in private. They were successful in brainwashing the masses and making most of them believe that UFOs were fake and made up. They believed that statement. Well, besides one wise man, Dr. Roger Lear. Dr. Lear was an American pediatric surgeon and a ufologist, best known as the investigator of alien implants. He performed 17 successful surgeries, removing extraterrestrial implants from human beings. He was one of the first people to discover nanotechnology. All 17 of his patients had been abducted by aliens and experimented on. Dr. Lear was skeptical at first until he did an MRI and had a mind-blowing discovery. Upon examination, he discovered small nanotechnology implants inside the patient's bodies. But the crazy part was, there was no signs of surgery or evidence on how these implants got into the person's body. Furthermore, after removing the implants, he sent the material off to be analyzed by scientists. And the results are earth-shattering. The extraterrestrial implants contain materials only found in the Milky Way and comets. The material does not exist on Earth. Sadly, Dr. Roger Lear passed away briefly after his work, leaving it abandoned. Was it terrible timing or the perfect cover-up? Ex-police officer turned author David Paulides came up with a series in a book that would change the world, and it was known as The Missing 411, the connection between missing people in national parks. The top 10 states with the most missing people just so happen to be the same top 10 states that report the most UFO activity. Across the world, we find petroglyphs, hieroglyphics, and cave paintings that all show and represent depictions of aliens and UFOs. Whatever or whoever they are, they have been around since the beginning of time. How is it these ancient people were depicting the same thing, even though they were separated by oceans, mountains, and harsh terrain? They are said to appear at night, almost as if they recognize a vulnerability in their prey. We must ask, who or what are these beings? What do they want? Why are they here? These questions may lead to answers that make you uncomfortable. With their technology, they could have easily remained undetected for as long as they wanted. So why? Why do they reveal themselves to us? And what do they want us to see? Nuclear power was discovered in the early 1950s. Not long after is when they arrived. It seems that they have knowledge of where the government stores their deep underground military bases, their nuclear artillery, and where they test the nuclear bombs. The Book of Enoch calls them the Watchers. Ancient tribes call them the Star People. We all know that these beings are highly advanced. The government has been doing disclosure on UFOs. Are they gearing up for their big reveal?